I've got a 2002 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and I needed to replace the master cylinder, and behind it is the brake booster. The master cylinder was leaking into the brake booster and was causing white smoke to come out the exhaust. So by pumping the brakes, I didn't find any brake fluid leaking out any of the four tires. So it ended up with a white smoke. I knew it was the master cylinder leaking. I went down to the shop and decided I'll go ahead and get a quote from them. I know it's an easy job, but it should only be $150 to do this job, but it only takes a few minutes. I got a quote of almost $1,200 to do this from the shop, and it's a super rip-off. This is only the master cylinder here. You just take these two lines off. You can unplug, push down on this tab, and this unplugs your electrical to tell you what the level of the fluid is. There's only two nuts on here, one on either side, one here and one over on the other side. Probably hard to see, but there's one more nut. Pull these two lines off, undo these two nuts, and this slides right out. Then if you have to replace the power booster as well, I'll show you. What you want to do is come down to your brake pedal. You're going to have to unhook the brake pedal. If you look up in here, there's a clip. Let's see if I can get the light right. There's a clip on the left side. If you take that clip off, this will unattach from the brake booster. And there's 4 bolts. You can see one at the bottom here, one at the other bottom, and there's one a little bit higher. Take the 2 higher top nuts off first, and then take these 2 off. Then you can remove the power booster. There's also adjusting the brake. If you see this unit right here, if you depress the brake pedal, there's a little plastic black tab there, or it's like a plunger. Just pull it out, it'll click. It'll just pull it right out. And then when you let go of the brake pedal, it will adjust your brake light. Because your brake light will be on if you don't do that. This whole thing took me 45 minutes. And that's including bleeding the lines. So if you have somebody depress the brake when you get it all back together, just have a friend. You can use a stick, but I would suggest having a friend help you. Once it's all hooked up, have a friend push down on the brake pedal and hold it. You're going to go ahead and loosen up one of these until you get all the air out, and then close the line up. Then go ahead and let go of the brake. Do the same thing on this one. While you're doing this, make sure you have the cap off, because that lets the flow of the brake fluid get through here and it gets the air out of it. Now that takes care of your master cylinder. If you go underneath the tire, you'll see a little tab. It's kind of hard to see it. Way I'm down, but there's a little tab right here where my finger is. Usually there's a little rubber cover over it. You pull that cover off. Now all you need is a little piece of tubing like this, and that goes over that little tab, and get yourself a jar. Once you put this over the tab, put the other end in the jar and go underneath, get a wrench on it, have somebody depress the brake pedal, and then crack it open. That's going to start bleeding the line. The brake pedal's going to start going down, and then before it goes all the way down, close it. You want to do this about 4 times. That gets all the air out of the line, or you can keep going until you get nice clean fluid. That's what I would recommend. You want to start with the furthest from the master cylinder, which is going to start at your rear. My master cylinder is on the left side, so go to your right side wheel first. Bleed that one. Then bleed your left rear, and then your right front, bleed that. And then finally, the last one you want to bleed, the one closest to the master cylinder, and that would be on my car, my left tire. So once those are all bled out, you're good to go. Now I might mention, as you're pulling the booster out and all that, once you take the brake pedal, unattach it to the booster, I undo the battery on the positive side, because the brake light will just stay on. You'll drain the battery, so it's just a good thing to do. So once all that's done, you just hook it back up. Make sure you got plenty of fluid in here, and you just saved yourself about $800. Also want to mention that when you go to a shop, you might find out whether you can buy the parts or not. There's about close to an 80% markup they charge you on parts. If I had the shop do it, I would have paid $192 more for the parts. Napa had the master cylinder for $150, and the brake booster, I'm sorry, the master cylinder was $129, the brake booster was $150. So it's crazy to have these shops when you don't even need to jack the car up to do this. You don't have to take the wheels off. Sometimes I use these that are helpful because I can get underneath my car easier. Yeah, save yourself some money. This is a real gimmick they use on you, and it's not necessary. It's a very easy job. Yeah, sorry, making this video was kind of an afterthought, but just keep in mind it's only 6 nuts the whole job, and 1 clip to pull the brake pedal loose from the power booster. If you do end up getting fluid in your power booster, though, you will need to replace it. But it's if you do this with the master cylinder, you're looking at maybe 30 minutes tops.